Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Please let me know if you can hear me. I am having some mic issues. So if you are there, please let me know that you can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Please hit the like button on the way in and please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any people in the live yet? We do. So if you guys can let me know, you don't have to engage, but if you could just give me a thumbs up or something so I know that you guys can hear me so I can continue. Please let me know. Please let me know. I don't want to have to use another device and there's going to be an echo, but I may have to because I want to keep running my mouth and no one can hear me. Hold on. Let's see. Sorry, you guys, mic issues. And then I bought a new mic and I don't know if the mic is working. So let's see here. Let me see.
With Domino's Rewards.
Okay, so hold on, you guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, let's see. All right, you guys. For those gonna do the replay game, you're just gonna have to skip through this part. My apologies. I gotta make sure you guys can hear me before I start giving my review. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I just did a test, so you guys can hear me. Okay, perfect. Hello. Okay, welcome, you guys. Sorry, I have two mics now. Next time I do it live, I definitely will need you guys to let me know if the new mic is working. I switch back to the old mic so I can make sure that you guys can hear me. We are about to give the review for The House of the Dragon, season 2, episode 8. All right. So for the replay gang, you guys, you can hit at the 5:20 mark and we will get started. And this is called The Queen Who Ever Was. Okay. The Queen Who Ever Was. Now, how do I rate this finale? It wasn't a bad episode, but I think because we love this show so much, we were expecting so much more because every freaking episode gave us like an amazing banger. I think with this one, it was a little boring because nothing happened. We just got people going through the motions, but there was no action. Probably done on purpose. So we have to wait until 2026 to see what's going to happen. But I think we anticipated a lot for the actual finale. And it didn't deliver, in my opinion. But you guys can let me know. If I had to rate it, I would give it a B minus. Still definitely watch it. I had to watch it multiple times actually. First time for enjoyment, the second time to take my notes. But yeah, I think that we were waiting for something and nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was just everybody going through the motions. Hell, Raina didn't even get her freaking dragon. So let's get started, shall we? So it starts off with this random scary looking monkey. And I don't know about y'all, but that definitely looked like an AI monkey that was crawling through the freaking meeting. That freaks me out. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't fond of monkeys. So, anywho, the monkey is walking through the meeting, and there's a meeting taking place with Thailand and damn near the whole kingdom. And the people are like, look, we don't need you, but it looks like you need us. So, how about you give us the Stepstones? That'll work. If you need us that badly, give us the Stepstones. And he's like, excuse me, those rocks have been disputed for a generation, generations at that. And Thailand is desperate. And so he agrees, even though he was like, I may get punished for this, like being unalive. But at this point, what more can we actually do? We need the manpower. And so at that point, one of them says, oh, one more thing. Lohar, I believe the name is pronounced Lohar, has to go with you or they will not fight, because Lohar pretty much is the lead. And if the lead says fight, the rest of them will fight. Now, what I loved about this is when Lohar presented herself, we find out she is a woman, okay? And what I loved is that she looked at Thailand and said, what kind of man are you? Are you a poet? Are you a philosopher? In other words, you ain't no warrior. What kind of man are you? Like, I'm all about the fight, and you sitting up there acting like you about to read some poetry or some philosophy or something. Like, I am not selling with a man that cannot beat me. And she walks away, and Thailand says, beat you in what? Like, I can't best you in what? Like, what are you referring to? So then at that point, she kind of, what I'm saying, grins a little bit or whatever the case may be, or they all kind of grin because he doesn't know what to expect, because he is not about getting down in the nitty gritty, but he's going to have to get down and get dirty. So Evil Left Eye literally burns down an entire kingdom, innocent people, because he wanted some get back for being scared and upset that his sister has the upper hand. Okay. This is what we're dealing with Left Eye. Little peens, little egos, little man syndromes. This is what happens when they feel like they no longer have power or they're getting bullied. So this is what happens. He literally shedded innocent people's lives. Now, King Agon, also asshole, and Clubfoot, they're talking, okay? And so at that point, Clubfoot says, we need to leave King's Landing and not return for some time. The Pretender, which I find interesting that they call Rhaenyra Rhaenys the Pretender, because here's my issue with that. It's amazing how people can kind of psych themselves out to believe what they want to believe. Because if anybody is a pretender, it's those fools in King's Landing. Okay. It's not Rhaenyra. All right. So the fact that they're calling her the pretender and everyone is starting to say that, I'm like, no, she's the one who's not the pretender. Y'all are. But he says the pretender has found 3 dragon riders, and he's like, that's impossible. And Clubfoot says, well, your brother thought so too. And then he saw it for himself and fled like a scary little biatch. So he said, from what I hear, he fled. He got scared. And so at that point, Clubfoot said, yeah, he got so scared, so much so that he burned SharePoint to the ground. And then King Asshole says that effing mad C, the big C word. Now, I'm thinking he's calling his brother that. And I was like, that's a perfect description for him. But as soon as he said that, he brings up Rhaenyra again. And I was like, I hope you was calling your brother that, not Rhaenyra. And so at that point, he says, when it comes to Rhaenyra, you can tell to a certain extent, as much as he's scared, he's like this mad woman, but I think to a certain extent he respects it. Like, he knows that his sister is fearless. Like, she's not to play with at all whatsoever. He knows that. And so at that point, he says, why should I run? Why should I run? I'm the king. And Clubfoot says, because Left Eye is going to unalive you. Okay, point blank, period. And King Asshole says, or I will take my throne back and make him my prisoner. And Clubfoot says, and then what? When Rhaenyra unleashes those dragons on you. Okay, and so Clubfoot says, we can live in the Essos. I have some gold from Harrenhal, and we can live well there. And King Asshole is like, my dragon is unalive. I'm burnt up. I'm crippled. I'm alone. And Clubfoot says, you're not alone. And I think this is where him and Clubfoot bond, because they both have disabilities. And, they sometimes feel they're alone in this world. But he was like, you're not alone. But the next thing that he says, I'm sorry, y'all, I laughed my ass off. This fool says, my peen no longer works. It's burnt up like a sausage on a spit. Baby, I don't know about y'all, But I was laughing so hard when he said that. He said, my peen no longer works. It's burnt up like a sausage on a spit. I said, well, I guess at that point, I guess you could say your life is over. Yeah. At that point, the way you describe that, yeah, your life is done. Okay. It's done. And Clubfoot is like, let your brother and Rhaenyra destroy themselves, and we can come back later when all of this is over, and they will praise you when you return. And like a dummy, I guess he truly feels that Clubfoot is right, and he's like, he thinks this would actually work. He's like, yeah, I'll come back as the victor. Like, I'll come back as the hero. This definitely has to work. And I'm like, yeah, okay. It ain't about to work. You claim it's going to work. No. Now, Raina, she is on the quest to find that dragon. I believe her name is Raina. We got too many R's, child. She's on the quest to find that dragon. She's on the hunt to find that wild dragon so she can actually claim a dragon. Meanwhile, Jace walks in with the new dragon riders. Okay, we have good old Ulf, and like I said, he was gonna F up. He's acting like an ignorant fool, who has never had nothing. Okay, that's the way he was gonna act. And he pretty much feels like because now he has that blood and he's a dragon rider, he can do whatever he wants. He got his feet on the table like an ignorant fool, like New Money would act. Somebody who has never had anything before, but then when they finally get some money, they just want to act the fool. Yeah, that's off. He got his feet on the council table where Rhaenyra typically sits. Okay, because she usually sits at one head of the table or whatever case may be. She sits at either one of them, and he's sitting there. And Hugh has sense. Okay, he knows how to act because he's been in front of the higher ups before, the royal council before. So Jace tells Ulf to take his feet off the table. And Ulf is like, no, who's asking? And Hugh has to tell him, you know what I'm saying, like Ulf, like Jace is the prince or whatever. And this fool gets up and hugs Jace and even talks about how dark his hair is. And you know he hates that. That's pretty much reminding him that he's a quote unquote bastard. And so at that point, he was like, oh, yeah, you got the dark hair. And then he pretty much kind of, in my opinion, compares like I have the lighter hair. In other words, maybe my blood is stronger than yours. The platinum looking blonde hair versus your dark hair. And Jace wants an apology. And Ulf, you know, he's like, no, like, what do I need to apologize for? Because we're all the same here. And Jace is like, no, the hell we're not. We're not all the same. And honestly, this scene to me kind of reminds me in general of life, period, where people are there are always going to be people who want to be better than you or above you. You know, they don't want to be the same as you. As long as you're beneath them, they will feel better about themselves. And to me, that's where Jace is in life right now. I understand he's a bastard child and he's definitely always been questioned about, you know, who his pappy is. But at the same time, I just feel like he's taking it too far to let them know you are beneath me. Okay. But at that point, Jace is like, do you know what Left Eye just did? He went to SharePoint and pretty much burned SharePoint down. Are you prepared for that? Or do you just want an easy life and easily be taken care of now that you have this blood? And so Jace is like, I'll feed you to the dogs. Pretty much. He's like, look, I'll feed you to the dogs. And Ulf freaks out. And he's like, I meant no harm, my prince. And he walks away. So I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, in the meantime, though, I was like, Ulf is going to be a problem. I said that the last episode because I said, who told him to take that dragon and ride it around freaking King's Landing? It tells me in this episode, Rhaenyra didn't tell him to do that. He did it on his own to show off. So Rhaenyra meets with Sea Snake to talk about her new writers, saying she doesn't know them, their character, but at the same time, he does know Adam. And he's like, no, I don't. He works with me, but I know very little, but I do hear that he is a man of integrity. But you have the advantage to strike while you can, because at the end of the day, you have your dragons. But at the same time, he also has 3 dragons, talking about Left Eye. And so he starts naming them, saying one that's never left Old Town. And she says, Rhaenyra says, well, that one's never left Old Town. So at this point, they not prepared. That dragon's not prepared. And then the other one is Dreamfire, and that's Helena's dragon. But as we all know, even Rhaenyra's like, Helena is not a warrior. She has no desire. And Sea Snake says, she may have desire now. And Left Eye is desperate and angry because he thought he was untouchable, and now he knows that he's not, and he will not stop at burning Sharp Point. He did Sharp Point, so in other words, he's coming for you, so you need to strike now while he's not prepared. And Rhaenyra knows that he is speaking truth, and she asks him about his ship. And he says that it's better than new, and says that, but it's no longer called Sea Snake. It's going to be called the Queen that never was or ever was, pretty much dedicated to his wife, Princess Ray Ray. And of course, Rhaenyra thanks him, and he says, whatever I do now is for my girl, for my wife. And he tells Rhaenyra, you're ready. You have all the dragons and my ship that serves you. You must crush this beast. However, you have another player that hasn't revealed itself. And we already know who that other player is. Good old Damon, okay? Sir Alfred actually goes to Harrenhal to check on Damon to see about his intentions. And Damon laughs it off, kind of like, oh, now y'all want to come. And Alfred is like, look, can we talk in private? And he said, I served your brother, and now I serve his true heir. But pretty much he says we need a strong man. We need strong men. Those who, want a man to take the lead, your lords will follow. And Damon says, I never thought you would be like a backstabbing turncoat, because to a certain extent, what he's saying is, at least from what I gather, look, I'm going to respect Rhaenyra because she's the heir, but she's not a man. So at the end of the day, those who want a man to lead, we're still waiting for that man to step up. Even if she is the queen, we still need a king. And so at that point, Damon smirks, and the problem is I still don't know his intentions. And I understand we're going to see something later on in the episode. I just don't know if I trust his intentions. Has he finally learned his lesson? Okay. Has he finally learned his lesson and realized with all the stuff that the witch did to him, he realizes that he can't be anything without Rhaenyra? Has he learned that? Or are we going to see more of his nonsense later on? So even though they were supposed to actually talk in private, Keebler elf nosy ass is standing there the whole time, which makes me wonder if this information that he just received is going to benefit him in the next season. I don't know, but he was there being nosy, and I feel like there's a reason why he was there. So at that point, we see actually Helena and her mother talking, and Helena is like, why are people so mad at them? And at that point, she explains, like, because of, what's going on, and they expect for us, the royal court, to pretty much lead them, to guide them. And Helena says, I was much happier when I wasn't queen. And pretty much, guess what? Queen Bia, her mother feels the same way. And at that moment, she almost is like, girl, like, I feel your pain. You're just being honest while I just shut up about it. And so Queen Bia is like, do you ever think about leaving here? Do you want to like leave here? And Helena almost looks happy, like, wow, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem leaving here. But then she's like, but where would she go? Then the next thing you know, Left Eye interrupts their convo and says hello to both of them, but barely even acknowledges his mother, and tells Helena she is needed and she needs to fly Dreamfire to battle. And Helena's like, hell no, I don't wish to fight. And Left Eye says, you have no choice. You have to preserve the throne. And she's like, no, I won't burn anyone. And at that point, he grabs her, pretty much says, this is a demand. Like, I don't care what you say. And Queen Bia is like, your sister is the queen. And he says, and so are you. And you see what happened under you. And I was like, he has a point. Like, you're the reason why all of this went down in the first place. And definitely hit the like button on your way in. And so at that point, he was like, yeah, so this is your fault. Look what happened when you were the queen. And at that point, she kind of gets on him. And she says, oh, so is that what made you burn all those people up? For you to be acting like an evil fool? You know what I'm saying? You want to rule, but you unalive and ruin small folk just because you felt insulted and bullied because it makes you feel better about yourself. Like I said, little peen syndrome, little peen syndrome. And so she's like, and now you want to ruin your sister, which is the most innocent and pure of all of us. And she's like, well, not on my watch. It's not about to go down. So at that point, he ends up leaving the room, and immediately Queen Bia, Allison, goes to the doctor and says she needs a passage for him and not to say anything. She needs his discretion. So don't say nothing. So pretty much she's about to escape, and we know where she's going. Sir Cole gets questioned by Allison's brother because he's like, you effing my sister. You sleeping with my sister, you piece of shit. And where is your oath? Where is your loyalty? And so at that point, he's like, I could destroy you. And Sir Cole said, you could, and stain your family's name. And then at that point, he says, but she saved my life twice, by someone else's hand and also by my own hand. And he said, you know, look, I feel ashamed. And I'm like, do you really feel ashamed? But he's like, I feel ashamed. And he says that, you know, most likely he's probably going to be unalived in this war. And if he is unalived in this war, it would be a relief. And I'm just like, I'm ready for you to go. You're one of many. I'm ready to go because you're just weak. As much as you made it seem like you were this strong knight, you have allowed two women to truly mollywop your emotions. You have no strength. I don't know what to say about your trifling ass. But anywho, with that being said, then we see Thailand, and there's a freaking mud fight. This is what they're doing. They're mud wrestling, okay? And Thailand is getting his ass beat by this woman warrior. Like, she is ragtagging him, like whooping his ass. And then at that point, he gets one good hit on her and another good hit on her. And her crazy butt literally looks impressed and says, okay, Thailand, like, you have my respect now. Let's have dinner. Have you eaten the flesh of your enemies before? And when she said that too, my face scrunched up. I said, what the heck? And he's like, no, I haven't and I won't. And then she literally makes this evil face and she says, are you rejecting my house dinner? And then he's like, is this heifer is crazy. And then she starts to laugh. It was a joke. And she says, I will agree to sail with you. And, you know, my soldiers will come with me. And this is going to be interesting. This is going to be definitely interesting because I'm like, she's quite a character. And then when they celebrate and they have dinner, she wants him to have freaky tales with her wives. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, this is a hot mess. Hey, Chaz. I knew that. Thank you, Chaz. Thank you, Chaz. I still was able to watch it. It was still great dialogue. I gave it a B-. I was just like, how dare y'all? Like, and then we have to wait 2 years, 2 whole years. Like, I can't. Thailand had way too much camera time. I'm trying to figure out, usually the last episode is written by the showrunner. I'm trying to figure out, did they run out of budget maybe for this episode and they just played in our faces because they put too much of their budget in the other episodes? Because this episode seemed like it should have been maybe episode 3 or episode like 6, not episode the finale. Definitely. So I agree with you. And I'm glad you agree with me because I was like, if I'm the only one, by all means, let me know. So I have a feeling though, and I'm going to give my predictions on what I'm thinking the next episode. The next season. We'll talk about that after this. But Jace is still pouting about him being a bastard and how others can claim a dragon. And his cousin / boo thing is like, Man up. That's one thing about her. She's real quick to tell her grandpappy, every man in there to man up and get over it. She's like, man up. I don't care. You are the heir. Go stand by your mother. Like, no one has time for this nonsense. You still have Targaryen blood in you, regardless on the color of your hair and who claims a dragon. They will literally bow down and take a knee because you are the next in line. So at dinner, like I said, with good old Ulf, you can't take him anywhere. He is truly the example of just that guy. Like, you can take him out of the hood, you can take him out of the ghetto, you can take him out of there, but that ghetto and that hood is still in him. That's off. That's definitely off. Ulf is acting a fool at the queen's table while he's eating food, talking about bring him some bird, bring him some bird. In other words, bring me some chicken wings. That's the way I took it. He like, bring me some more chicken, bring me some more chicken. So literally at that point, she says, if you serve me well, I will make you knights. But what they have to do is they have to attack immediately, even if that means often innocent people. And Ulf, of course, is loud and ignorant. And Rhaenyra is like, mind your manners in front of the queen. And she said that's what a knight would do. And he said, well, I guess you need to make me a knight. Smart ass mouth, just a smart ass mouth. And she looked at him like, what the hell did you just say to me? Ulf, in my opinion, he is the one who is going to end quickly, maybe next season, because of just his ignorance and his mouth. If he doesn't straighten up, he is definitely going to be one of the first to go. Okay, whether it's in battle or Rhaenyra going to have to take him out, something's going to happen. And so at that point, he's like, I'm just joking. And I'm like, you know what, you're saying you're just joking. But a lot of times in those type of situations, there is truth in the jokes with this fool. Like, he thinks because he can ride a dragon, no one can tell him anything. Oh, but you're sadly mistaken. So meanwhile, she finds out Damon has pretty much got an army. He's ready to go. And fears that, he is possibly against her. And she said, I won't allow it, and tells Adam to go with her. So Damon and the witch of Harrenhal, child, he goes into another vision. And you guys are going to have to help me with this. Please help me with this, because I was really confused as to what was going on here. Definitely, though, I did see the blood on his hands. That was the first thing when he touched that tree trunk, the blood on his hands. But who was the guy in the first part of the vision that had the scar on his face and you saw kind of like the whole zombie skeleton thing? Who was that? Y'all let me know, because I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to represent. But you see, Rhaenyra in this vision. You see Helena in this vision. And so in the process of that happening, Left Eye tries to manipulate his sister and try to convince Helena to come to Harrenhal with him. And she says, and if I refuse, will you burn me like you did Aegon? And he said, that's a lie. And she said, I saw it, mofo. You burned them and let them fall. And he said, what you say is treason. And pretty much she says, F that. Let me tell you something right now. He's going to be king again, and you will be unalived. And he says, I could have you unalived right now just by saying that. And she's like, that's not going to change anything. It's not. So even though he's getting the warning from his sister that this is going to happen, he doesn't care. His ego is in the way. Even though she pretty much is giving him the warning of all warnings, he's not trying to straighten up and fly right. He doesn't care. So I expect that next season, Left Eye is going to be gone. I hope he's gone. He's definitely one. And Cole, both of them can go. Both of them can go. So Keebler Elf greets Rhaenyra at Harrenhal. And pretty much says there's so much concern. He sent, a message and to come see for yourself. And then what she sees is an army of people. Okay. An army of people. And there's a dragon. It wasn't her dragon, though. I want to say, whose dragon was it? Was it Adam's dragon, or was it Or was it Damon's dragon? All I know is that dragon was right there ready to huff and puff, okay? In other words, I'm guarding all of this. Okay, let me see, Chaz. The King White Walker from Game of Thrones, they showed us what we already saw in the Game of Thrones. Okay, now, interesting enough, Chaz, I don't know if you knew this, but I never watched the Game of Thrones. I'm just now getting to the House of Dragons. So pretty much they're giving what was already done, but it's almost kind of giving what's going to happen in the future with the House of Dragon. Maybe that's the reason why they showed it, kind of showing what's going to happen with this actual show. Oh, so it was her dragon. So I guess the dragon didn't stay put where she left him at the bottom of the hill and decided to bring his ass up there just in case to look out for her. Okay, because I was like, I thought that was Adam's dragon because she told Adam to come with her. So, okay, so if that's the case, then he was doing what he was supposed to do to guard his, you know what I'm saying, dragon rider. So at that point, we see Damon and he walks up and he says, "You are the true queen and we will fight and protect you." And they all take a knee. And she says to him that, "Look, if you leave me again, it's on. You're gonna have a problem if you leave me again." And she says, "Will you accept me as, your queen?" And he says yes, and they all cheer. Now, here's my thing. Has Damon learned his lesson? Did he go through all of those visions and stuff and he finally learned his lesson? Or are we gonna see him still try to take advantage and try to be king and try to rule with Rhaenyra together, or try to take over, period? I just don't know. I don't trust Damon at this point. I really don't. Oh, see, this is why y'all here to school me. House of Dragon happens 200 years before the Game of Thrones. Got it. So he pretty much is seeing the future in that vision. Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you, Chaz. Thank you. So at that point, they're cheering on and saying pretty much, yes, you are the queen. We will fight for you. Then we have Sea Snake. And Sea Snake tries to tell his son he needs to do better leading. And he's like, "I didn't ask to lead, but I will try to do better as far as my job is concerned." And Sea Snake says, "I'm trying to help you." And baby, that was a trigger. He turned around and said, "Do you know what it was like not having a father in our lives?" And of course, Sea Snake don't want to hear that because he was like, "You're dismissed." He was like, "F that." He was like, you know what I'm saying? We were sitting up there starving, scraping for stuff, scraping for food, and then literally you passing by with your freaking heir and your daughter, and you got all of this riches and glory while we struggle. And he was like, now that all of your people are gone, you want to help me now? And he was like, "I don't need your help. I work and I go home. That's just what it is, bottom line." I personally think something's going to happen to Sea Snake. And I think he's trying to prepare his oldest son that he has left to just be prepared to take his place. That's what I'm thinking, which is why he's doing that. And he realizes they have something special in them. So he's really trying to prepare them. But we'll see. So Raina spots the wild dragon and tries to chase after it, baby. I think she is really going to redeem herself and really show what she is made of next season. Season 3, she is probably going to meet them at Harrenhal, and she is going to give that wild dragon. That wild dragon is going to be hers, but that wild dragon, because it's wild, is going to be probably very fierce. I just have a feeling she's going to be there taking over like no other. She's probably going to come in at the end of the battle, and maybe when they think they're going to get defeated, she comes in and she wrecks shop. That's my prediction, but we'll see. Now, Rhaenyra is in her bed, okay? She's in her bed. And next thing you know, she gets a knock at the door with one of her knights and saying, you have a visitor. And guess who it is? It's Queen Bi, okay? And Queen Bi is saying, "Look, I've lost my way, and I put all of my faith in my husband, my sons." And then she says, "My lover." And Rhaenyra's like, "Oh, lover, not Miss Perfect, not, you know what I'm saying, the queen that can't be corrupted." And literally at that point, she's like, don't judge me for stuff that you did yourself. And I'm like, she would have never judged you if you didn't judge her. Like, you the one who judged her from the beginning. So at that point, Renee was like, why are you here? And so Allison comes with this plan that says, look, if when Left Eye meets Cole in the Riverlands, when he is gone, Helena will be queen. And you can enter, there will be no violence. You know, the knights will lay down their swords, and at that point, you can take your throne. And Rhaenyra is like, okay, and what about Aegon? What about King Asshole? And she is like, he is broken beyond repair. I can convince him. He still needs his mother. I can convince him to take a knee. And Rhaenyra was like, no, heifer, no. You know good and well it can't be that way. At the end of the day, I have to take him out, off with his head. Like, you need to choose. You know this is how it goes. And she's like, a son for a son? Like, because y'all took mine, or whatever the case may be. So a son for a son. And of course, Allison hesitates, but then she nods and agrees. And now at this point, her own son has to go in order to end this that she pretty much created. She has to unalive her own son or allow it to happen. And he didn't even want the throne in the first place. She wanted him to have the throne so they could still have control. And so at that point, Rhaenyra says, so what do I do with you now? And Allison is like, let me go so I can run like I said I would. She was like, but come with me. And Rhaenyra was like, absolutely not. I'm a warrior. I'm staying here. Like, it's not going down. I'm a warrior. I stay here. You can run, but I'm going to be here with my people. And so then we get the intense music. The intense music begins. All of the sides are preparing for war. What, you know what I'm saying? What I will say is that, in my opinion, I do like the visuals of this, because what we know is everyone that we see in this intense part with the music playing, they're not going to make it out. So you pretty much get all of the faces of the people who really matter when it comes to this show and the characters, but we know everybody's not going to make it. They're not. But then we see Otto. That was Otto, if I'm not mistaken, who is in a jail cell. Okay, the former hand, Allison's father, he's in a jail cell. And I'm like, did I miss something? Because of course they had been looking for him and they couldn't find him. And I was like, am I missing something? But who in the hell put him in the damn prison? And I was like, did Clubfoot do that so he can guarantee his position? Because I'm like, who put him there? And Clubfoot and King Asshole are running, and so is Queen Bia, even though she's like standing there, like literally on a hill. But then the episode goes off, and that's the end of it. So at that point, literally, that's it. We didn't see no fights. We didn't see like anybody get taken out. They kind of played in our faces, y'all. Like, that's just what it is. Yeah, so that was Otto, right, Chaz? I said, who the hell put him in the prison? Gotta be Clubfoot. He would be the only one who would benefit off of that. He really would. Like, I don't see who else, but you know, they'll always surprise us. But I was like, who put him in there? So the fact, and who was coming into the jail cell at that point to get him, because it looked like somebody was coming there to see him. So this is going to be quite interesting, who put him in there, or did his own son put him in there? Because remember, him and his, you know, Allison's brother, the son and him, they didn't get along. So it makes you wonder who really put him in there. It may be a whole twist, but I'm predicting this. Sea Snake is not going to make it, because at this point, he feels like he has nothing to live for anyways. And I think he's going to try to prepare his actual, you know, side babies to take over. And they're pretty much going to get all of what he has left, the riches and all of that stuff. They're going to get that. However, interesting enough, though, his one son that he did claim is still alive somewhere in sea. He's not completely gone. So I'm curious to see if they're going to bring him back season 3. As far as Allison is concerned and Helena, I don't think her plan is going to go as she expected it to go. I don't. And I also think it may have to come between her and Left Eye. I don't know if Left Eye is going to end up being unalived in battle. Maybe he will with Damon. But I feel like at the end of the day, she's going to have to end this. And it's not just with King Asshole. She may have to end it with her own son that's truly the most evil of all evils with Left Eye. That possibly can be a possibility. Or Helena may have to do it. Helena, who literally doesn't want to be involved in this, she is probably going to have to get her hands dirty in some shape or form. That is a definite situation. I feel like something's going to happen. Or, Helena may end up, being at Dragonstone for some reason, but who knows? Y'all let me know what your predictions are. Raina, she's going to have that dragon. And she's going to be able to be a dragon rider with her sister. And I definitely think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, because she really wants to be that woman warrior. Damon, I think, is not going to make it by season 3. After season 3, I think Damon is going to be unalived in season 3. That is just my prediction. From my understanding, we know that Rhaenyra, based on the books, she is going to be taken out eventually in some shape or form. So, which honestly, I think this scene between her and Queen Bia Alicent, I think this scene was kind of like foretelling that she maybe should have gone with Alicent, maybe, because if she's going to stay there, she's going to be taken out. She's going to be unalived. So this could have been like that last attempt of the special bond they once did have when they were younger and they were friends, that this was the last attempt for Rhaenyra to be able to leave and, be able to just kind of be a child again or just be her own woman. But of course, Rhaenyra's not going to do that because, she was born to take the throne. So yeah, so definitely that's what I'm thinking. Otto being in jail, I am so curious about that and what's going to happen at this point. To me, my gut is telling me it's Clubfoot who did it. So if we don't start season 3, episode 1 with the battle, I know something, right? Right. They really played in our faces. I said, dang it, all this time I kept saying A's, A's, A's for every episode. In this episode, I said, what the hell? I was like, really? Like, y'all playing games with us? Like, why? And then, like, I'm curious to see. I haven't, because I don't typically look at people's reviews before I do my own review, because I just feel like it's a distraction because you want to, give your own thoughts and opinions on stuff. But I'm curious to see what other people are thinking about this episode. Did they feel it was underwhelming? Were they disappointed? Because I know I was, but I'm a baby dragon. So maybe for those who literally know this stuff like the back of their hand, they thought it was a decent episode. I thought they could have did much better and gave us a little something. So yeah, but with that being said, you guys, those are my predictions. Like, I definitely feel like, well, what about Jace? Jace needs to get over it. So I feel like he either is going to be like a huge, warrior, or I will hope he's not taken out. And then she has none of her older sons anymore. I don't know. But I do know that this was a powerful scene between both of them. Both queens, former friends. Even when Rhaenyra said a son for a son, she had tears in her eyes because she understood as a mother how hard it would be. Hi, Brian. You said I like Jace this season. He was a bright spot. Okay. Jace, to me, he's very realistic. He definitely understands, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't you can't put the wool over his eyes. Like, you can't sit up there and continue to front with him. I do feel like, though, he's sulking a little bit too much about the fact that other people can be dragon riders. Like, you can tell he's just a lost child because he already was hearing the rumors for a very long time that he wasn't his father's son. But at the same time, it's like for him to keep saying, like, I am better than you. You bow down in my presence. It's giving Damon vibes, and you guys already know how I feel about that with people and they whole, you better mind your tongue, you better understand that I am the royalty and you're a peasant. That's one thing that I can't rock with, but that's just my personal thing. Like, Jason's not stupid. He's very smart, but at the same time, he's just sulking a little bit too much for me about this whole thing. That I'm not as special and not as much royalty as I thought I was. But yeah, so I don't know, you guys. And what's so I'm frustrated. 2026, like 2026. Like, we have a whole year and a half and then some until we get the next season. Why? Like, why? At this point, you guys need to be working on the episodes of the new season while we're watching the second season. I'm disappointed in that. Because this is a really good show and we don't really have really amazing shows like that on TV anymore. And I'm a little annoyed by that. So I'm just like, I don't want to have to wait until 2026, but I guess we have no choice. But before I go, do you guys have any other predictions? Any predictions on what you guys think will happen in season 3? Who's going to make it? Who's not going to make it? And what about all of the characters that we did see and what's going on? Definitely let me know in the chat or replay gang in the comments. Definitely let me know. Allison, making peace with Rhaenyra makes sense with her character to me. She always seemed like a person that wants to know that she is doing the right thing. Yeah, but also I agree with that, but also that she, to a certain extent, in my opinion, she always admired Rhaenyra. She was jealous of Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra was just, she didn't give a damn. Rhaenyra was F-less. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I think Allison admired that, but she was so busy always trying to be the perfect queen that she really didn't get to live her life. You know what I mean? Versus where Rhaenyra was, next to the throne. Like, she literally was the next heir. And she was like, I don't care. Like, shoot, if I feel like screwing somebody, I feel like screwing somebody. And I think she always admired that. She always wanted to do that and was kind of jealous of her for being able to do it and get away with it. Based on the books, season 3 is going to be action, action, action. We have to wait. Brian, how you feel about waiting until 2026? I can't. I read ahead. Oh, you did. You did. Well, then, yeah, I guess don't spoil it for us, because I ain't reading those books. I ain't got time to be reading the books. I appreciate those, though, who actually do read them and give some insight when I'm doing these lives. I do appreciate it. I'm just not taking the time to read them damn books. But I appreciate y'all, like, straight up Dragon fans, GOT fans. I appreciate y'all, because then y'all can give me some insight. So the fact that it's going to be action, 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 I'm assuming that means action also, Brian, that some people going to be taken out. Some of our main characters are not going to be there by the end of season 3. Is that what you're also saying? Because I predict that. I definitely predict that, just based on how people were talking and how people were kind of trying to help people or say their goodbyes and stuff. Yeah, definitely seems like everyone is not going to make it. So yeah, I kind of wish they would have left season 2 in the middle of the upcoming battle, but I like the season, although it has some flaws. Just wait on it. See? Okay, see? So maybe I'm on to something. So make sure, I don't know if you subscribe to my channel, but make sure you subscribe, so then that way we can talk about it when the next season comes. I hope they're predicting 2026 and then they're going to end up giving it to us earlier than that. That's what I'm hoping. Cliff Notes version, those books thicker than, thank you. I heard. And no. No. All right. Now, I heard those books are amazing, but no. Absolutely not. I would rather watch the visuals. I really would. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for coming to listen to me and my review. Apologies for the beginning. Like I said, I have a new mic. I had to use the old mic. I'm gonna have to test out the new mic eventually, so I can make sure that people can hear me, because this old mic, child, is on his last leg. And what I mean by last leg, one of the legs on the actual mic has broken off. So you should see the type of MacGyver balance I'm doing with this mic right now, so I can do this live. So with that being said, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.